Hey guys, Adam here from the Tint Academy. In our course, we teach two methods of installation. First method we teach is a two-stage where we keep the gasket in. Our second method, which is our most popular method, is called a bottom load. We're going to take those gasket and seals out. Now in this video, we're going to show you how to cut, shrink, and install for the bottom load method. Now with the bottom load method, it is a cleaner, easier install once you get those gaskets or seals out. So I'm going to show you that once we go into the installation phase. But for this method, it takes a lot of work to get that seal out. We're not going to show you how to take the seals out in this tutorial video. That's for you to do your own research on. For every year, make and model and car, go onto YouTube, Hyundai Elantra hatchback 2021, removing the gasket or the seals. We're just going to show you how to do that. So first we have my piece of film here. Now I already did my outside prep and I already did my inside prep. So we're going to show cutting, shrinking, and installing, doing the bottom load method. So first I have my backing sheet out facing me. Whenever I'm cutting my film, I want this sheet to be facing out. Now I line my film up here. I'm going to have about an inch overlap on this pillar and an inch and a bit overlap on this pillar. Then I'm going to go about half an inch down below on this pillar, making sure this bottom factory edge is in line with this bottom pillar. Now first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add an anchor. So I'm going to use my white hard card and I'm going to anchor the film. The reason we do that is so when I'm doing my cuts, this film does not rotate anywhere to make my cuts off or look bad. In total, I'm going to do 4 cuts. My bottom cut's my first cut, my large side is my second cut, my small side is my third cut, and my top cut's going to be fourth and final cuts. Now first what I'm going to do is this bottom cut. So whenever I enter the film, I want to have no knife out of my blade. I'm going to find that bottom corner, bring that blade out one click, following line with the bottom of the seal and coming straight across. Once I make that cut, I'm going to pull that film away from me and away from me. Once that cut is done, I'm going to alleviate the anchor, so I'm going to spray my film and spray underneath it. I'm going to shift the film down 1/4 of an inch overlapping that seal. Here. Once I slide it down, I make my anchor again and double check that everything's in line. My next cut here is going to be my large side. Whenever I cut the sides, I always want to start at the bottom. So when I enter my film, we're always going to have a little divot in that film. So find that corner, no blade out, with my knife, find that corner, pop it out one blade, find pillar, all the way up. Then I'm pull the film away, pull the film away. Now every time I make that cut, I want to make a bit of a shift. So I'm going to spray out my film, and I shift it 1/4 of an inch across this way. Now, everybody we ask, 1/4 inch is a little bit different. So my shift is going to just come all the way up over top of this rubber seal here. So lift it up, shift it across 1/4 inch. Now I'm going to double check. I'm still in line here. I have my overlap, and I have 1/4 inch overlap here. Once everything's in line, I'm going to anchor out this piece of film again so it doesn't move anywhere. My next cut is going to be this bottom side cut here. Again, no blade out, find that corner, one blade up, coming straight up. Then I'll peel, peel. Once I make my small cut, I'm going to shift it over 1/8 of an inch or 1/2 quarter. We call this splitting the difference. So, spray my film, lift my film, I'm going to spray underneath it, I'm going to shift it over 1/8 of an inch. Now I'm going to double check. I still have overlap at the bottom. I have a tiny bit of overlap here and a tiny bit of overlap here, so we're even on both sides. Once I make that shift, I'm going to anchor out my entire piece of film here. So this film has nowhere to go. My last and final cut is going to be my top cut. To do this, I'm going to open up the door and drop my film down 3 clicks. So this piece of film traveled down with the window. So now the top part of the window is exposed and I can make a clean top cut. With this top cut, we want the blade out 4 or 5 blade lengths. I'm going to run it right across the top of the edge to make a super clean cut. Now out of all 4 cuts, this is our most important cut. It's the one that your customers are mostly going to be complaining about. So we're going to start by the bottom, putting tension on this film so it doesn't last anywhere, keeping it riding right across the top of the edge and all the way across. Then I'm going to pull and pull. Now we're not quite done yet. So I made my 4 cuts, bottom, large side, small side, top cut. Now we want to do our cleanup phase. So our cleanup phase, we want to get rid of all this stuff up here so it looks nice. And I'm going to do this right on the car window. I'm going to take my Easy Reach tool here, which is a flat edge, If you don't have one of these, you can also use a ruler or a straight surface and round off these corners here. So just use my finger, coming straight across, rounding it off. Bring it up here, following it down, and then rounding off that top corner. And the last two edges across here, coming down. Now we have all our edges cut on this piece of film, and we're ready to go to our next stage, which is our shrinking phase, which shapes the film to this curved piece of glass. So we just showed you the 4 cuts of how to cut for a bottom load. Now into our shrinking stage. Our shrinking stage, we're gonna add heat to the film so it curves it to the window. Film is flat, glass is curved. So you wanna make sure that this follows the shape of the window. With my film, I'm gonna spray down the window, place my film over top of the glass, small side, I'm gonna go over about 1 inch, leaving 1 inch at the bottom, and then 1 inch at the side. Once I create that inch, I'm gonna take my card and I'm gonna draw the letter N. This is gonna push all that excess film down to the bottom. So I'm only gonna shrink the bottom, because when we do our install, I'm gonna show you a squeegee pattern to drive all that excess film down to the bottom. So make a really tough N across here. Once I make that N, I'm gonna try to push all that excess water out here. Now, in the video, you can see that we have these lines coming up. These are called fingers. That's where the excess film is bunching up, so it's not laying flat on the glass where that curvature is gonna be. Your goal with this is to get rid of those. We're gonna do this with a heat gun. We use a standard $50 Wagner heat gun. You need about 1100 degrees Fahrenheit to get rid of these fingers. Now, one major keynote here, as we talked about before, we have our factory edge and our factory edge. Film only shrinks factory edge to factory edge. If I have a finger that comes out this way and I add heat, it's gonna burn it. So we must always make sure that our fingers are running vertical. You need to recognize what's going on. If you have a finger that starts going at a 45-degree angle, you need to correct that and make it go vertical or up and down. We're always gonna start from our large side, working our way across to our small side. I'm gonna fire up my heat gun, let it get warm. Then I'm gonna add heat for 3 seconds here. And with my hard card, I'm gonna push down. 3 seconds across that finger and push it down. I'm gonna come all the way across to make sure that all these fingers are out. So when I go to my installation, it's gonna lay flat on the glass. Now, once I got rid of all those fingers, in our course, we teach you to shrink this twice, just to make sure you don't have anything popping up on those when you're doing your installation. So I'm gonna spray down my film, lift it up, spray underneath. I'm gonna remake my N across here, and really tough to try to push out all that water, get tacked onto the glass, then push everything straight down. And make sure we don't have any fingers popping up, so it makes for an easy and smooth installation. Now you can see here, I still have a few fingers popping up. I'm gonna get rid of those right now. So we'll fire up our heat gun. 3, 2, 1, and push out. 3, 2, 1, push. 3, 2, 1, push. 3, 2, 1, push. Now, once I made sure that all these fingers are gone, I'm gonna take my heat gun, coming across the bottom slowly, see if anything pops up. Add 1 pop up here, so to make sure we get rid of that finger as well. Now once I shrunk, I'm gonna take my film off the glass, and you can see all those squiggly shrink lines. When you see those squiggly shrink lines, it's a great sign that you shrunk it well, and you'll have an easy and clean installation when you go to put this on the glass. So we just showed you how to cut for bottom loading and shrink. Our next step is going to be installation, doing the bottom load method. Now in this video, I didn't show you outside prep, inside prep, so make sure you have clean windows before that. The whole focus of this tutorial is cutting, shrinking, and installation, where most people have that issue. So before I install, I'm gonna do one more clean. We're just gonna spray, squeegee, spray. So I'm gonna take my slip solution, I'm gonna spray, then I'm gonna flush down and flush down. I'm gonna take my squeegee all the way coming down and make sure everything is totally clean before I go to my installation. Now we're ready to peel. This method here, we need to be extremely fast. By the time you peel this outside layer, you're about 5 seconds to get it on the window. The more time this film is exposed, it's gonna have more dust, dirt, and debris that can fall into this window. So before I go, I'm gonna get my inside ready. I'm gonna spray off and make sure everything is ready to go. Now I'm gonna peel my corner. So first I'm gonna spray the outside, and I'm gonna spray the air to knock anything down that may come in contact. spray my hands to make sure they're clean, and I peel off this liner here. Once I peel off this liner, I'm gonna spray, but not too aggressively, because I don't want to get all that dirt from up here coming into the film. Now I'm gonna pick up my film. We had about 1/4 of an inch at the bottom for that excess, so I'm gonna touch just down to here, bring my hand under cross and coming up and bring the film up. Now, like we said, we don't have that seal in place, so I'm gonna place the film on the window and I'm gonna drop down that bottom corner and slide it all the way down. Bring that corner down and slide this corner up without touching anything, and then I'm gonna line it up at the top. So here again, I drop that corner down, slid it down, drop this corner down, slid it down, then lined up the top. Now, for the top gap here, we allow you about a hair. Standard is about 1/2 of an inch. We want you to be about 1/4 or a hairline here. Most of your complaints would come out either dirt, debris, or stuff in the film, or that top cut line. Once I get everything into place, I'm gonna do a light squeegee across the top. My squeegee pattern here is gonna be letter T. So here, I'm gonna cross the top and down. Once I made that letter T, I'm gonna go slowly to the outside, because we wanna spread that film coming across up here. Once I did that squeegee, I'm gonna do another hard squeegee. So spray this film off again, and tap in the window until I get the most of that excess slip solution out of here. Now, once I get that part done, I'm going to use my easy reach again. And I'll get the top corner. So I'll slide this guy in here, drive it all down and make sure the sides are tacked in. Slide that down here. Now I'm going to slowly roll it up, slide the pill, put the window forward. Now I'm going to tack in the side, tack in the side. We have those sides tacked in, so we remade that letter N. Once I remake that letter N, I can push everything down, coming straight across. And then take my easy reach and make sure everything's tacked at the bottom across here. Now we have that installation. I'm gonna double check that we don't have any kind of hair, dirt, debris. So those are our 3 steps. We made our 4 cuts, cleaned the sides, round the corners, shrunk our film, and then we installed our film using the bottom load method. Thank you for watching our videos. We hope you learned some information out of those videos that you just watched. Now, our job is to be one of the top leaders of education in window tinting across Canada. We have courses running monthly from Vancouver to Halifax. Visit www.Tint Academy for all our course list.